Hi, I'm Mariska Dressler and I'm Director Horticulture of GreenTech. I'm here at the Aquatech at one of the main exhibition halls, and here you feel the excitement to meet people face to face from all over the world, just like at GreenTech. Let me take you to Saudi Arabia, where under extreme climate circumstances it is possible to have sustainable food production with maximum yield and minimum usage of water. Are you curious? I am. Let's take a look together.
One of the biggest problems the Middle East faces is the shortage of water. The depletion of aquifers, which has been formed in millions of years, goes at a very rapid pace. The agricultural industry in the Middle East has to find new ways to grow their crops. We're here to talk about the research project Estidama, which has been designed by Wageningen University and BOM Greenhouses. Welkom, Mike Vermeij, CEO of BOM Group, and Jouke Kampe, researcher at Wageningen University.
Thank you.
Yeah, great you're here to talk about the Estidama project. First of all, you were both involved by building and the research of this project, but I'm very curious, who's the initiator of this project?
Well, Wageningen was the initiator of the project. It started already in 2009. Then I went to Saudi Arabia to present some plan or proposal to set up a research center in Riyadh. And well, it took a very long time because before it was really established this center, and that had to do because the ministry was not able to set up such a big project. But then fortunately SABIC came in, who is also a contributor on this fair here at the moment, and well, they took the initiative in the end, and they were basically the financiers of the Estidama project in the end.
But if I understand it correctly, Wageningen University initiated this project, but the problem is in Saudi Arabia, so that's kind of strange, right?
Yeah, that's strange, but well, here in the Netherlands we have a lot of water-saving technologies, and well, we knew already they would also be applicable in Saudi Arabia, but yeah, seeing is believing is very important for the growers there. So showing that these technologies really work also under their extreme conditions. So it was vital to set up a research center in that area, and basically that was the main motivation to set up the center there, to really demonstrate that water-saving technologies, which are already commercially available, can be applied in this extreme Saudi weather as well.
And why is it so important that there are these research projects in the Middle East? Is it because of the water shortage there is there?
Yeah, well, the main focus of this project was to really demonstrate this technology under the local circumstances or the local conditions, because, well, we knew these technologies would work, of course, but seeing it under those extreme temperatures, for example, up to 50 degrees, that is something, we really also had to see if it was working in the end. So that's why we set up this research center in Riyadh.
Because I can imagine that it's important to have these projects so they can build or have more production of crops there. Or is that the main reason? Because the population is growing in the world, so we need more food. That's like a clear story.
Yeah.
And how is it produced now there?
Are you talking about the actual produce now in the greenhouse, or how the Saudi in general now produce their production?
Yeah. Well, how they produce their production at the moment, and why it's so important that we have such research projects so we can produce more.
Yeah, shall I answer that?
Sure.
Now the current standard line in Saudi is to cultivate crops in tunnels, plastic tunnels, or in a greenhouse with a pan and van cooling.
Yeah.
That means that they use water as a medium to cool down the greenhouse, which is considered to the Dutch standards, it's low-tech or mid-tech. With those technologies they are able to grow some production during a certain period of time in the year. Production is relatively low, quality is okay, but they use considerable amount of water to do that. I think the Saudi government said, okay, we need to show, not do research just for research, but we need to have a practical example of how it's done or how it could be done. So that's
for
why
the future.
For the future, I think in general that's not only for Saudi, but in general, all over the world, we are facing with the growing population. We are facing with less land being available. It might be a discussion point, but in my personal opinion, we have enough energy in the world to do whatever we need to do. The only shortage we have globally, even in the Netherlands, is fresh water, potable water. I think the people in the Middle East region are more aware of that. So they are looking for the technology. They sometimes have to be positively influenced by Wageningen University to think about, okay, how can you really solve it? How can we make the example to prove that it's doable? Not prove it here in the Netherlands, but prove it there in Riyadh.
So if we're not having such developments or such research done, how does the future of the Middle East look like in the next couple of 10 to 20 years?
I think they will face a lack of available potable water, drink water, fresh water. If they don't invest in technology to cultivate vegetables in the region, every country is looking for more local production, being less dependent on import.
Yeah.
Political, economical stability, it's always a challenge. If they don't invest in the technology, then the climate makes it very difficult to grow vegetables, unless you use a lot of water. And they will run out of it in 10 to 20 years.
So in 10 to 20 years it won't be possible with new techniques? Without new techniques it won't be possible to grow crops there anymore?
Already you see this development in Qatar and in the Emirates. They already depleted all their water resources. So there they already need desalination, so getting water from the sea, taking out the salt and use that in the greenhouse. But that's very expensive, of course, because it's basically drinking water what you are producing, but then you are using it to cool your greenhouse. Well, also to irrigate your crops, but to cool your greenhouse is the main use of water in these greenhouses. So finding alternatives, for the cooling basically, but also for the irrigation, because they are still growing a lot in the soil, so directly in the ground, and taking it from the soil and putting it to a substrate, for example, so that it's that the amount of water you give, you can exactly monitor how much you are giving and how much is depleted, but then you can recapture that water and reuse it again, so that also saves a lot on water. So all those technologies can really improve the water use efficiency in this region.
And actually it's necessary to make sure they can grow crops within 10 to 20 years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so the project, you could start a project, and what was next? How did this cooperation started?
Well, we basically designed this center, which was built in the end. So we had indeed this standard technology. Then we had this mid technology, which is slightly more advanced technology from the standard technology. And the high technology, the high-tech technology, which is the most ultimate water-saving technology. So 3 technology levels were present in this setup. And basically we wrote the setup, so the tender document, which was then distributed to various greenhouse builders, of which one of them was BOM. And in the end, BOM came into the picture because they could convince the client that they were the best party to establish the center in the end. Yeah.
So.
Lucky one.
Yeah, lucky one. That's great. And how did you start the development of the technique and building the project? How did this process go?
The whole process, as in a normal situation, when we receive a tender document, we first check out what's the request, what's the technology. Is it technology that we know that we've done earlier? Is it doable for us? And in this case, it was a challenging technical specification.
Why?
BOM Group is focused on glass greenhouses. So one part was we also need low-tech, which is a plastic greenhouse, which we had to cooperate with another party to be able to supply it.
Yeah.
But our focus was more, we have the mid-tech, which is a normal greenhouse, which is provided into the region a lot. But a high-tech greenhouse, that's really high-tech. It's even more high-tech than the current standard Dutch greenhouses.